This
Me.
conference will now be recorded.
So Anand this side, if my voice is audible, so please type one in chat box so that we have the confirmation from your side. Thank you for your inputs. So before handing over this session to Amrinder sir, good evening. You are there.
Good evening, sir. I'm there.
So there is a short notification from them. Let me complete
Okay,
that. Then you continue your session, sir.
sure, sure.
So in last session, we came to know like this. Many candidates are saying you have paid for the session. The charges are involved into that. So let me confirm it once. There is no commercial involved, nor smart base, nor SCL is having any sort of money for that for the training. It's totally free. And someone has shared me the screenshot of SCL Tech B project. We have nothing to do with that project, SCL Tech B. We are representing here SL Technologies, and the profile we are hiring is L2. So we smart brains are authorized for hiring up couple of profiles L1 and L2. In L1 we are hiring for network support engineer, or in L2 we are hiring for Linux database, AWS databases. We all mentioned SSCM, we have mentioned cyber security, we have mentioned Active Directory. So these are the profiles which are under us. We are hiring these profiles for Noida, Hyderabad, Chennai, Bangalore, and Nagpur locations. Rest, we are not obligate or we are assumed to answer anything a part of all this. So SCL TechNet, SCL XB, any other vendor's name, we are nowhere asserting with them. Like for you or for me, it should be very much clear. You are with Smart Brains as a vendor of SCL, and you are having all your training pre-joining formalities with Smart Brains, and then once your deployment start, it will be on the payroll of Smart Brains only. And you will be on the day one, you are having your iCard, your office location, your project manager, your cab, your laptop, each and everything will be from SCL only. Okay, and after 6 months they might be converting you on their payroll, and they might be offering you the salary increment on that time as well. So whatever salary has been discussed on day one, the way you pipeline from Naukri or some other portals, it is same as of now. If there is increment, it will be discussed on the day of your video conference round with the project. So again, I'm confirming as a confirmation from my side, my team, and from the trainer as well. No charges, no commercial is involved anywhere in the process. Hope is clear for everyone. So now, Amrinder sir, please continue your process. And once this whole class is over with AWS, we are going to share the profile for the interview. Already 5 profile has been shared from B1 batch, okay, and then B2 batch will go in for the like their VC rounds. Over to you, sir.
Yeah, Anand sir, one more thing.
Yeah, who is this?
Yeah, it's me, Bhaskar.
Yeah, Bhaskar, please.
Yeah, Friday's session, still there. We did not get any video.
Friday session recording is not there. Can you just let
Yeah,
me know that Friday means 22nd and 15th you are saying?
yeah, 15th, yeah. Third class. I think it's in a third class. We did not get any video session. You did not upload on any YouTube. That's why I'm asking with you.
Just give me 1 second. So
Yeah,
in this chat box only, I'm just going to copy and paste the link. Please have it over here, and parallelly I will paste in the WhatsApp group as well.
yeah, okay, thank you,
Okay.
sir.
So the link has been already pasted in the group. Please copy
Yeah,
it from there. Thank
yeah,
you.
okay, thank you, sir.
So Amir, please continue, sir. Over to you. Sir, can you hear me?
Yes, yes, sir. Sorry, I was out somewhere. So, good evening, everyone. So, I will share my screen. Kindly let me know that my screen is visible to everyone or not. Just type one in chat box. Fine. So, what we are going to cover today is we are earlier I have shown you how to launch an EC2 instance and how we to troubleshoot the network related issue in the EC2 instance. So today again we will launch EC2 instance, but this time we will do some more depth in that, like launching, resizing, managing, and monitoring EC2 instance. So first I will give you a little bit brief about EC2 instance again, so that there will be a little refresh upon that. So what is EC2 instances? Is a Amazon EC2 is a web service that provide resizable compute capacity in the cloud. When they say that resizable mean whatever the load you are having on your website, it automatically is there is an option that we can resize it. For example, we are using single core, then we can use two core CPU. We can also resize our RAM, and we can also add some more resources like graphics card and other. So they give us a flexibility depending upon that whatever the workload we are having. It is designed to make web scale cloud computing easier for developers. So Amazon EC2 instance, simple web service interface that allow you to obtain and configure capacity with minimal friction. It provides you complete control of your computing resources and let you run on Amazon proven computing environment. Amazon EC2 reduce the time required to obtain and boot new server instance to minute. Earlier, we are waiting for a days to build and install the machine and then install operating system, then doing the setting. So we can with the EC2, we can load our images and then within a minute we can start our instance. So this allow you to quickly scale capacity both up and down as your computing requirement changes. So Amazon EC2 change the economics of the computing by allowing you to pay only for capacity that you actually use. So Amazon EC2 provides developer the tool to build failure resilient application and isolate themselves from the common failure scenarios. So today we will do hand-on lab on EC2 rather than this theoretical session. We will launch a web server with the termination protection enabled. We will monitor the EC2 instance, modify the security groups that allow your web server using to allow HTTP access, resize your Amazon EC2 instance to scale, explore EC2 limits, then test termination protection and terminate your EC2 instance. Earlier, it was very much headache. Like you have to build your own web server. So with the EC2 instance, we can do it quickly. So once you have a regular practice on that, then there is a matter of minute with the scripts. You can launch your own web server. So we can also automate the task using various AWS services, because AWS services, what they are perfect on is that they do lot of automations. Earlier, managing, maintaining, and then continuously monitoring infrastructure, we have to spend a lot of time. So now these days, every infrastructure is simply written in the code, and when we run the code, it automatically launch hundred of servers and with the security settings and each and everything. So we will do today a simple task. So we will start our lab. So I will share my console screen. Please let me know in the chat box that my screen is visible, my console screen is visible, console home which I have highlighted is visible. Just type one in chat box. Okay, thanks. So first, what we have to do is we need to type EC2 in the service menu. So whatever service you are going to use in the console, first you need to like look for a shortcut. If it is not there, then there are multiple ways you can find your service. You can click on the service and then scroll down, and you will also see the service you need here. And also, if you know the name correctly, then you can type it here, EC2. So it will give you the services list of services starting with EC2. So we will click on the EC2. So earlier I have explained you about this dashboard. So today I will quickly go through it. So this dashboard will quickly give you the look that what are the resources you are running in that particular region, that US West Oregon. And there is a instance like how many instances running, how many elastic IP you are using. So elastic IP means this permanent public IP, the key pair which you are using to log into your EC2 instance. And there is a group, like you can also group the EC2 instance. Snapshot is something like uh, when you have uh, developed some application, sometime you want to save the work. So you can save your EC2 image in the form of snapshot, so that once your code are not able to run, or we are run out in some bug, you can roll back to the same state where in the previous state of that application where it was working fine with the help of snapshot. So some dedicated host, like the host which we have already purchased for a long time, the server instance, it will be listed down here. So the number of instance total which are not in running condition will list down here. So load balancer, if you have configured any load balancer, it will list down here. Security group is type of a firewall which like by default block all the port to access the instance for security reason, and it will allow, whatever the port you allow, it will allow that port to communicate to your instance. And volume is a kind of a storage device which is attached to your instance. And if you have configured other storage device also, so we will click on the launch instance. So first we have to choose the Amazon machine image, that is called AMI. So Amazon machine image, here first we write it that my, as I told you in earlier session, that tagging is very much important. So it is very useful in case when you have like when you have a lot of different EC2 instance, means virtual machine, or you can say that a server configured in your AWS console. So it is very easier to identify by seeing the name only. So if I type it as my first web server, Linux web server. So whatever nomenclature your organization follow, you can use that. Or if you are using are doing it for testing, then you can use that nomenclature to write it down in this box. So here, this Amazon machine image, which Amazon has previously captured the image. So it all the flavors are listed here. If you want to browse for more AMIs, then you can click on that. So depending upon your requirement, all these instances are listed here. If you want to develop application on Mac OS and Linux or Red Hat flavor or uh, Ubuntu, then Microsoft Windows. So whatever this OS environment you want, you can just select that, and then on straight away you can launch that image. So we will use this. We will use we will use this Amazon machine image AMI. That is a machine code, and this is a machine type. And here you can see the name that architecture is written here: 64-bit HVM hyper virtual machine, and also under that instance type, that is a hardware which this machine is this AMI is going to install on which hardware, that is a T2 micro. That is a type of hardware which Amazon is providing us with the one core CPU and 1 GB of RAM, and also written a price. So it is under free tier, but if you are not purchasing it under free tier, it will cost you around this like 0.0116 USD per hour. So day by day, Amazon keep on revising their price so that they can meet the demand of market, and also the like deliver a low cost solution to market. So now we are going to use this T3 instead of T2 micro. You can type this T3 micro. So as I type here, T3 micro is having 2 CPU and 1 GB of memory, and it will cost around this much of USD per hour. It is not available under free tier. So when you are trying in your account, don't please check the pricing, because they will straight away, once your machine is up and running, they will charge you about this much of uh, price in the USD plus taxes. As per applicable, tax is only applicable on the basis of the country. So in India, I think they are deducting 18%. So T3 micro instance has two virtual CPU and 1 GB of RAM. So let's go and configure the networking detail. So the network, under network detail, the network indicate which virtual private cloud you wish to launch the instance. You have a multiple network, such as one for development, one for testing, and one for production. So if you want to segregate your department, uh, then also you can configure a different type of virtual private cloud, so that all their resources that are used by a developer is available within single virtual private cloud, and for testing they have separate environment. So for network, select lab VPC. So In here we have a lab VPC. So I have already written here as a lab VPC, so we can choose it. So once you have selected the lab VPC was created using a cloud formation template during the setup process of this lab. So cloud formation is nothing else. It is kind of an infrastructure as a code. So we keep other detail as in default, like auto assigning public IP enable firewall as it is. So by default, as I told in my earlier session that we have open SSH port, which is required to connect to my EC2 Linux instance, and uh, other port we have not configured yet. So by default, it will give you 8 GB of storage because the Linux image is which they have captured is under 8 GB. So we will like select here enable protection, termination protection. Like for example, when you are when you have configured your this EC2 instance, sometime there are multiple EC2 instance which we have created for a testing purpose. So when we are deleting the instance, so if the instance which is important to us got deleted by like selecting the wrong instance, then it will be like our work will be lost. So Amazon give us a deletion protection this system where it will not allow us to delete the instance. So it will like we have to give a proper confirmation to that uh, uh, this for the deletion of the instance. So we have to configure first that we don't want to delete this instance. So in then we have need to go to the advanced. In advanced, there is an option called enable this termination protection. So when an Amazon EC2 instance is no longer required, it can be terminated, which means that the instance is stopped and the resources are released. The terminated instance cannot be started again. So if you want to prevent the instance from being accidentally terminated, you can enable termination protection for the instance, which prevent it from being terminated. So under advanced detail, there is an option called termination protection. We will enable this. So there are a lot of option uh, this Amazon give us to granularly control this EC2 instance. So right now we are using this termination protection instance only, and a field for a user data will appear. When you launch an instance, you can pass a user data to the instance that can be used to perform a common automated configuration task and even run script after the instance task. So your instance is running Amazon Linux. So you will have to provide a shell script that will run with the instance start. So what we are going to do is under this blank box, this user data, we will copy one script of a Linux, which will automatically configure our Linux EC2 instance with the server. So what it will do is it will first install this HTTP Apache server. So it will enable that system CTL enable means it will enable automatic enable Apache server at startup. and then it will start the services of this Apache server, and it will display the message hello from your web server. That message it will be displayed here. So once we will click a launch instance, it will automatically run that script in the start and automatically configure the web server. So you can imagine that whatever services you want to configure, if you have write down a simple code or any complex code of your service, then no longer you need to first install the web server and then reconfiguring it again and again. So I will pause here for a minute, and I like if anyone have any doubt till here what we have done so far, then I will clarify here. Then we will move forward to launch instance. So anyone any doubt till here?
Hello, sir.
Yes.
Yeah, you told me in a T3 for in a CPU utilization, sir. CPU we added in a two CPU, sir.
Mm-hmm.
In the upcoming, you told me in a
Yeah.
I am added in a two CPU. But why we
Yes.
can't
Yes.
add only one CPU? Is there any problem for adding in a one CPU?
No, this is a CPU with a two core. This is four core CPU. So
Yeah, yeah,
that
I
is
saw
not a
in
that is not a problem. I just want to let you know that you are using in the free tier one core CPU. That is not a problem. So I was just selecting this to want you know that whenever you configure your application, sometimes it require a more compute resource. So sometimes
yeah.
single core CPU is not sufficient to run that application. Right. So based on your requirement, you can select a two core, four core, five core, whatever your application demand. So
Yeah, sir. One
in
more thing,
relation to
sir.
this, yeah.
I am communicated with my friend, and he told me why I have to gain a two CPU means he told me the system process will be it will be take some time. If you give then one core means one core of the CPU means it will be the priority of the system process will be full too low. Too slow, sir. The system will be too slow. When we will give an two CPU, automatically it will be recovered. And he told me that's why I am asking with you.
So number of core more is there is a multi-processing, a multitasking. If you have earlier see that one core will process one task at a time, right? So
Yeah, yeah,
when you press a button on a keyboard, like when you press a say character A on a keyboard, if you press two character at a time, so it will type two character for example I am typing A here and then A. If we sorry A here and S. If we type two character at a time, it will type whatever the character we hit first in a microsecond detail. It will not type A and above A, it will not type S. It will not overlap each other. You understand? So it will
yeah, yeah, sir.
executing one task at a time. So two core means executing two tasks at a time. So more number of core will be there, more like multitasking CPU is performing the task, right? So depending upon your
Yeah,
application, you can install configure multiple cores. So here, for example, I have taken that. Otherwise, you can choose single core also. We are only launching a simple web server here. So moving on to storage. So EC to store data on the network attach virtual disk called elastic block storage. So you will launch a EC2 instance with a default 8 GB disk volume. So that volume which we have used here 8 GB, it is a root volume. So the image will be loaded in your root volume, right?
Yeah.
So what we will do is we will so as I told you that this is our security group, so we will remove this default SSH uh, rule, and then we will see that what will happen and what error it will throw on us. So also like before proceeding, uh, we need to check that this key pair, because without key pair we are unable to log in with the to the instance. Sorry, create a new key pair. So always you have to create a new key pair. So if you have your own custom AMI where you know that what is the username and the password of the system, then you do not need the key pair, because you already know the key password of that system. Because what key pair does is in the Windows, it will give us the encrypted key pair, which we use to decrypt the Windows password. So once we change the password to of the window to our own password, then we don't need the key pair to connect to the window, because we already know the password of the window. So here web, I will write it down is web server. Sorry, Linux web server. Sometime when you are working with your this EC2 instance, sometimes there are a lot of keys downloaded from the net. So you can also type the day on which you have created the key, or whatever like this indication you want. You can just type it here, so that you can not don't mix your old key, because the key which you have created for other instance will not work here. Every instance has its own encryption key. Mhm. Just a minute.
Hello.
Yes,
Uh,
yes, tell me.
sorry for the interruption. Sorry for the interruption, sir. One of my friend
Yes,
is
yes.
trying to join the session from 5 minutes, but he is unable to join. Could you please help him? His name is Fairoz Khan.
Mm, okay, ask him to join again. I will check that. But I think
Okay.
it is automatically allowing all the person to join the session, and I'm also not getting any
Don't know, sir,
notification.
but mm,
What error he is facing?
uh, it's just showing like starting session. That's all,
Because my
and it's
session is
going on loading.
so is that the same link he is following up?
Yes, yes, sir.
Mm, because I have unlocked the session, so anyone can join here. But I don't know why it is. not allowing him. Ask him to uh, a reboot system or something like that. Do he have a mobile application
Okay.
to join?
Yes, sir. He's joining from mobile application only. He downloaded it.
He's clicking on the same link and
Yes, same link.
just give me a minute. I will call this coordinator and check that why he's not able to join. That organizer is not reachable right now, so we will continue the session. I'll drop a message to him. So we will check in the background like what is the problem he's facing. So we are facing some error. So we will quickly check all the setting again and then we will move forward. Next to AMI, quick start, type T3 So what was the error is actually I have only allowed to use T3 with this account. So I have selected T3A. So now everything is okay. So it will take some time to like create this instance, and also it will run this uh, script in startup and automatically configure the web server. So we no need to log into the EC2 instance and then run a number of commands to configure Apache server. Automatically, it will create the instance. Then whatever the command which we have provided in the user data, it will run those command and give us the session. So we will wait for few minutes. So here the status will be updated by 2 by 2 check pass. What does mean 2 by 2 check pass is first it will check for the system status check, means the system reachability. Like that a system where we have hosted that virtual machine is reachable or not. Once the system is reachable, then it will check for the instance status check, like whatever the instance we have created over there, like the virtual machine which we have deployed over there, that is reachable or not. So once it is available to connect, it will show us here that the machine has been successfully deployed and there is no error in deploying the this image, or we can call that this Linux server image or Linux machine image. So we can keep refreshing this. So it will update the status here. So you can also check that whether it has received the public DNS name or not. You can see that one public IP has been assigned to the instance. That is IP is responsible for routing the internet traffic to my instance, and this is public DNS name. We can use this or this to connect to our instance. And this is internal private IP. So again, we click on refresh to check. So it is showing that both stages has been passed. So we can see on the system check. So see, that is very much important. Sometime it will be asking exam what is this two check means. So system reachability check pass and instance reachability check pass. So if any error in deploying image or any error on the hardware, it will right away show us here that that system is not reachable or instance is not that image is not deployed properly. It happens sometime when you have created your own lab, but in case of Amazon, it happen rarely because they have tested their virtual machine image many time before uploading to or before making it available for the public. They have rigorously testing their image, So once they have checked that their image are stable, then only they upload their image in this AWS console or making it available for the public. So like to monitoring our instance, we can click on monitor. It will show us the resources here. So the tab display a CloudWatch metrics for your instance. Currently, there are not many metrics to display because the instance was recently launched. You can click on the graph to see and explain view.
Yes.
So if you see that like if there is a frequency that how after in how much second it will refresh your this CPU graph. You can choose it from the 1 second if you want that if your application are critical enough to watch it at every second. So it will update your CPU at every second. Then also it will use more resources. So you can easily check it here that after 30 seconds you want log or how many times. Amazon EC2 send a metrics to Amazon CloudWatch for your instance. Like basic 5 minute monitoring is enabled by default. You can enable detailing monitoring. Like in action menu, select monitor and troubleshoot and get system log. From action menu, monitoring and troubleshoot, and then get system log. So the system log display the console output of the instance. Like our instance has launched like from the starting. Whatever the activity happened during our instance launch, it will display all the activity. Like it is a very valuable tool for problem diagnose. It is especially useful for the troubleshooting kernel problem and service configuration issues that could cause an instance to terminate or become unreachable before it SSH daemon can be started. If you do not see system log, wait several minutes and then try again. It will automatically upload the system log here. So you can scroll through the output and note that the HTTP package that is which we are like pasted in user data, it will install during the startup. So we will scroll it down. So here you can see that it is installing the HTTP data packet. So here our instance is started. Sorry, let me check. Yes. So here it query all the package like yum HTTP, and then it is installing the package. So once that package is installed, it also resolve its dependency. Like to run this HTTP web server, Apache server, there are other software which the services HTTP depend upon automatically install. For example, to run this service successfully, there are number of other services for other packages in the Linux. We call this as a package. So other packages are required to successfully launch our web server. So it will automatically resolve that dependency and then install the package, because we have already pasted that all the requirement in our startup script. So it will verify. So it will automatically install the package. So like once you are using that script in user data, so just go to the system log if that uh, like if that package is going bad or like not installed properly. This will give you the troubleshooting information. Like once you will become a cloud engineer, then this kind of a log you usually see, because whatever role you got in the cloud, this you can say that very first roles are monitoring role. So in monitoring role, you only monitor the services. You are not required to run a web server, launch a web server, because that web server already created and is already there. For example, if you take the real-time scenario of any brand like Domino's. Domino's has already have their website running. Like Domino's application is there, Domino's website is there. So it is already there. They don't want you to reconfigure it. It is already there. Their team is there, which are like updating the new product in the website. When they are launching new pizza range or new burger range, they are adding their in their website. What they want is they want some sort of service to manage the infrastructure. When we are managing the infrastructure, we are using this cloud watch tool to monitor the health of the system. So if the system health is good enough, then that developer team will be taken care of the application, and then application will be running smoothly. So if any hardware goes faulty, or if CPU utilization go high, then their website will be chopped. So they want the team group of people, like team or any organization, to monitor their infrastructure, so that they have a smooth user experience. For example, on Friday, sometime they give us a discount offer that buy one get one. So a lot of users are visited Domino's website to buy their pizza. So that's like uh, uh, on the Friday, the peak load is sometime 200% or 300 or 400% increase than the regular day. So they experience they need to scale up the resource, and also they need to check that their services are not down at that time, because if the service goes down, then there will be directly in their a loss in their business, because user are not able to place order. So that is a loss which they face if the services goes down. So they want some team that their services are up and running, and their team are continuously monitoring their resources. So that is where your role come into the picture, that to monitor the resource, to monitor the resource, and then to configure the services. Just a minute, my session expire. Just wait a minute, I'll relaunch it. My screen is visible to all. Please type yes in chat box. Okay, thank you. So we are there at the screen monitoring dashboard. First, you need to select the instance. So as I told you that this screen is very useful. So just every time you launch your instance, just if it is not working, then just take a look on this screen. It will give you the inside. You can say that logs that what goes bad that your machines are not launched. So just keep it. Remember, it will give you like a hint that how to troubleshoot your image. So also you can from here monitor and troubleshoot. You can get the instance screenshot also. So it will give you the like instance screenshot that what is right now it is. You can download it and you can send it to the team like who are troubleshooting this instance. So these are the some important information you regular need to practice that you need to share the troubleshooting things to your team. So if you are unable to reach your instance via SSH or RDB, then also you can capture a screenshot of your instance and view it as an image to provide the visibility of the status of instance and allow a quick troubleshooting. For example, like in this screen, it is showing that uh, uh, this instance is not reachable, so it is not able to log in. So we need to allow that SSH port to get it done to connect our instance. So for this, what we need to do is we need to uh, you can say click our sorry we need to configure our SSH service. Earlier we have deleted that port. So to going to this configuring the security group, you can directly click on this blue button to configure the security group. That security group is which showing inside your instance this VMware. It is directly connected to this instance only. So whatever whichever instance you select, it will show that associated security group under that instance. You can click on this instance button which is highlighted in the blue in the earlier screen. It will end up here. Already it is there. So just make sure that that port is already there. TCP/IP. Yes, it is already there. So what we will do is we will check that whether our web server is up or not. We will click on this and then click this IP address. Someone also try to copy this IP. I will paste it in the chat box and just check that whether our server is accessible from their end or not. If not, then just type not accessible. If accessible, then type yes. Someone tell that why that server is not accessible. Anyone want to try that why it is not accessible? Because from my screen it is not accessible.
Sir, maybe in HTTPD not added in firewall.
What not added in firewall?
HTTPD port number 80.
Okay. Anyone other to try like to give a try at why it is not accessible?
I think it is restricted by any web server.
So the
I
first
think
common troubleshooting which I got the answer earlier that HTTP port. So that is very much required, in the security firewall that we must allow that port to reach the HTTP request to our server. If it is not allowed in the firewall, then also it will be not accessible. So first we will do uh, edit inbound setting, and then we will add that HTTP port. We can click here. It will give us all port, or you can also do the custom name if you know the port and the type of the protocol it is using. So already it is listed down HTTPS. It is easier for us to select from here, and then we can use anywhere IP and then save rule. So that setting is very instance. So once you apply it, it it will implement in instantly. So imagine if you have a older data center where you have to configure the firewall. So what you need to do is you need to contact the security engineer or network security administrator to access the firewall. Then you need to submit the valid reason that this port need to open. Then he will ask you why you want to open this port. Then you give the proper justification that my web server is running on this port and it is not accessible. Then he will take his own time to configure it, and then he will log into the router and then sorry, the checkpoint firewall or any other firewall. Then he configure the port and let you know. Sometime it will take a number of days to get one port open, or sometime on the urgent request in an hours. But here in AWS you can easily add, and it will be effect will be immediate. Sometime we need to reboot the firewall to apply all the root, or sorry, all the this settings. So many things we can do instantly in cloud. So it is very much easier for us to implement. So as we have configured our web server, so right now I have explained you in a detailed way. But imagine like few setting we have done in the EC2 instance. Then we need to copy the code, then launch instance. Once the instance is launched, if all the ports are there, then it will be like the time to launch the website is under 5 minutes you can launch. Or you can say that more than 10 minute. 10 minute is, I think, if someone is launching first time. So if you have a script where you want to parallelly launch this kind of a server with the like preloaded script, then you can 100 server you can launch in a single way by writing a code in cloud formation. There is another service which can use for uh, writing the infrastructure as a code. So you can write a detail of which type of instance you want, what are the setting you need in security group. All thing you will like write it down as a code. Then you can click parallelly, it will launch 100 machine. So further going down to this lab, we can do resizing the instance, like instance type and EBS. For example, as you need changes, you might find that your instance is overutilized or too small, and underutilized or too large, like you are paying too much for the instance. So your CPU uses are never go above say 30%. So you want to scale down your instance to save the cost in AWS. So you can change the instance type. For example, we use T3 instance, T3 micro instance, which is too small for workload. You can change into T3 micro instance. Uh, then what we need to do is, before you can resize an instance, you must stop it. When you, because
Excuse me,
whenever
sir.
you, yeah, please go on.
One of my friend is not able to join in the meeting. Will you please send him one more time link?
Link is already in the chat box.
Is the same link, sir?
Yeah, same link is there.
Okay, okay.
I will repaste it. So, like whenever you are going to change your this machine, first you need to shut down your server. For example, if you have your laptop, if you want to increase RAM, or if you want to increase hard drive size, or you want to replace your old HDD with the new SDD, solid state device, then you need to shut down first. So when your this system is shut down, then you can open your laptop and then replace the hard drive and or RAM. But here in AWS, it all is virtual. So whatever the setting you want to apply, but you have to shut down your this server, like with the web server. Then you can change the instance, and then same web server will be shifted to the that other VM. So let's go and do that exercise. I'll click on the EC2 instance, then click on the instance running. Then here, what I need to do is I need to select on the instance state and click stop instance. Yes, tell me please. So I will do stop instance. I will refresh here and see whether this is available or not. So now my instance is stopped. The page is not loading. Here it is saying, means it is running some shutdown activity, and here my web server is unreachable, means that service is down. So to change the instance type, we need to select our server and then click on the action button and then instance setting. So we will refresh it. Okay. my instance is stopped. So I remove that filter, instance running filter, and then it will give me the instance detail. I will select my instance first and then click on action button, then click on instance setting, then under this change instance type. So it will show that my current instance type is T3 micro and I want to change it to T3 small. So basically, this nomenclature written T3, that is a type of instance. That is by like if you want to read more, you can find some information on the website. Otherwise, if you want me to like explain all this instance, then I can also explain that what this nomenclature mean. Right away, I will shortly tell you. It is the type of instance. Some instances are compute optimized. Compute optimized means they have a more core CPU. There are some series which have more core CPU. Some are memory optimized, like they are optimized for the database. So sometimes database are large enough, they require a large memory so that the database can serve the query easily. Some are like network optimized instance, bandwidth optimized instance. So sorry, this graphics optimized instance. So when we are running 3D application, so they require more this memory and more graphics to handle that query. So these are all instances. Some are optimized for the gaming development and gaming purpose. So right now, if some anyone know about that, the Microsoft is moving down to the cloud gaming experience. Earlier, what we are doing is we don't, if we don't have any system in our home which can handle the game, like heavy games, we used to go to this gaming parlor or gaming this, you can say that cafe, where you pay for an hour to run the game on the PlayStation or Xbox console. So sometimes some people are not in that position to afford that this console, or sometimes they can purchase that console, but the games are costly enough. So in the cafe, we got a choice to play our own favorite game, and by the cost of per hour. So same concept these days Microsoft is doing. They bring a concept called cloud gaming, where they have a Xbox application available on the Microsoft Play Store. You can pay the price of $1 per month, and you can have access of 4,000 or sorry 400 plus games. Sometime some premium games are also there. So right now they are giving it as a promotional offer, but I don't know when it will end. But I just want to give you example that uh, when you have access of that Xbox gaming console or this application, then you are connected to their gaming server. You don't need to purchase a high-end system. Only you need to have a one normal system with the browser running. So that browser is connected to their gaming server, and they will give you access. Whatever the compute resource, whatever the graphics card resource, they are using the Microsoft data center graphics card and compute power. Only the process image is displaying over your browser. So no need to invest on high-end hardware. Whatever the gaming experience or latest game you want to play, you can have a subscription base from the Xbox. That is how they are changing their way for interaction with the people. Similarly, earlier we used to buy movie CD and play it on our CD drive at home. Right now, all movies are available on Netflix, Hotstar, and other OTT app. So only we need to buy a subscription. So we got access of thousand of movies over the internet, and we can play it on demand. No need to sit and watch for the time that when the movie will start on the TV. You can, whenever you feel free, you can watch it anytime. So all happened because these cloud services are more popular and people are moving their data center. Right now, if I give you example of Netflix, Netflix is running on this Amazon web server, and they are using 1,50,000 server of Amazon to like fulfill the need of all over the world demand for their OTT app. So imagine 1,50,000 server. So whenever any user add, there is a demand. Amazon automatically launch new virtual machine to meet the demand. So you see that there is no lag that how many people are watching, because sometime on Friday they launch a movie. At that time there are a lot of people who have a subscription of Netflix. They will watch the movie on the same day when it is launching. So likewise that they never feel a lag in we never feel a lag in the application, because it is all hosted in well architect network in the Amazon data center. So moving down with the uh, this setting, I will select T3. Anyone have any question till now, or I move forward to close it down because only few steps are left. So these all are a type of instance size. T3 is small, where it is apply. So if you have seen that I have successfully scaled up my system resources. Now it is T3 small. Yes, yes, tell me.
Yeah, we have discussed about the monitoring. Hello.
Yes, yes, tell me.
Yeah, we have discussed about the monitoring. After completion of monitoring, in monitoring only CPU and memory utilization we have to monitor. But one more
Hmm.
question: when the CPU utilization is more than the 95%, how can we tackle? For example, we are working in one company means nobody are there. The employees are in holiday, but I am only one person. How to tackle that query?
See, CPU utilization mean 100%. You alone not able to like you can say that handle that this instance, because once the utilization goes to 90%, and how you came to know that why it goes on 90%? Because well, if I take the example of web server, so when Domino's has launched a discount offer, definitely it will go to upside. The CPU utilization will go upside, and my system will use more resources because there are more number of user. Then you cannot shut down your CPU or restart your CPU. There will be a loss of production. Then there are other services which we can parallel in this we can configure in parallel with this utilization, where like we will do other labs like auto scaling. There we can define that once our CPU utilization will go above 75%, then you can it will automatically launch a new instance to serve the load. Otherwise, what you need to do is there are a lot of tool which we are using to report the instance. You can directly report to your senior level that the CPU utilization is high and our server is about to choke. So CloudWatch will give you the indication that you can configure the alert. So you will get the alert, and also that a senior management will also get the alert. So if it is related to the load on website, then they must use auto scaling, or they can increase the instance type. But again, it involve costing. So you single standalone cannot able to take the decision on the costing. If you are running a test environment, then you know that that cost you have to pay. Then you can increase your instance type to large, because you want to test your application without redoing again configuration. But if you are working in organization, then wherever the costing is involved, the other parties are also involved. You need to get the costing approved from the management, because at the end, if you increase the size, then there will be definitely a higher price in the billing of Amazon. And at the end, when Amazon bill $200 instead of $100, then they will ask you, they will query the Amazon why the bill is more. Then they will straight away tell that someone has changed the computer from T3 micro to T3 small. Then they will definitely find from the log that who has changed. Then they will come after you. You have to pay $100 for doing that. So independently or in the organization, both scenario are different, and under which circumstance you want to like increase the CPU, decrease the CPU utilization, you want to increase the instance resource, or you want to add another server. It all depend upon the scenario to scenario. Hope I answer your question and you get a clarity on that.
Yeah, yes, sir.
Okay, so we will quickly move down to we have modified successfully modified the server type, and we will again do one more thing. We can modify the storage. So in the instance setting, so I have click on this instance type, and then volume we also have to increase. So again, volume setting. So first you need to select your instance. Then on the left side, you see that there are elastic block storage. Under that, there is a setting called volumes. So you need to click on the volume. Earlier we have choose 8 GB of this volume. Now we will modify and use 10 GB. So you need to select volume first, and then click on the action, then modify volume. So here I will increase the volume size to 10 GB and click on modify. So it will give you the warning that if you are increasing the size of the volume, you must extend the file system to the new size of the volume, and also it will increase the price. You are charged for the new volume configuration. For the pricing information, it will again refer to some page where you can check that per GB what charges there are implied on the volume. So once we have applied the setting, click on refresh. Now the size is 10 GB, and we will go back to our instance. Sometimes don't afraid that no instance is visible here. Sometimes filter are applied. So you need to cancel all the filter to view all the instance. So this is we need to collect, and then so now Amazon EC2 provide different resources that you can use. The resources include image, instance, volumes, and snapshot. When you create an AWS account, there are default limit on these resources. on per region basis, right? So in the left navigation pane, click limits. So this will tell you the limits, like what are the current limit your account is having. So click all limit and then select a running instance. All limits, then running instance. So notice that there is a limit for the instance type based on the number of virtual CPU required. For example, for running on demand, all standard, you have a limit of 1280 virtual CPU. Uh, on demand instance, standard instance is this. It is giving me a 250. So the T3 micro instance required two virtual CPU, therefore there is a reason. You can also increase for many of these limit. So calculate. First, I think we need to click on the EC2 instance. Just a minute. I think there is some limitation on my account, but definitely AWS give us a permission to increase the limit, like on demand instance, how many instance we can run on demand. Okay, so moving down further to, so earlier if you remember that we have created one deletion, this server deletion option enable when we are creating the instance. So we will check that how it will work. So if you click on the instance, if you try to delete now, so that option is grayed out. Like accidentally, for example, if you have more than one or two instance, or you want to delete multiple instance at a time, if you select a wrong instance, then you delete the instance, then you a lot of work which you have configured in that instance will lost. So for that you need to click that option enable deletion protection. So now that option is grayed out. It will only give you the option to start, but it will not give you the option to terminate the instance. That is grayed out. This is a safeguard to prevent the accidental termination of the incident. If you really want to terminate the instance, you will need to disable the termination protection. So again, we will go to the action menu and select instance setting. So under instance setting, we can click on the change termination protection. So if you see here that that option is enabled, we can click here and save it. So now you can go on and again select, and option is available. So you can right away terminate that instance. So it will first like shut down the machine and then terminate. So terminate, sometime it will take hours to like show this option, but it is already when the instance enter in terminated state, AWS stop you billing right from that moment only. But it will reflect sometime for 30 minutes or for hour or 2 hour. So you no need to worry about that. It is already entered in the termination state, right? So I think today we have learned that how we can customize, scale up our resource, add more volume, and then like launch a website with a pre-script, and also like how to monitor the instance using a monitoring tool, and how to check the log when you are not able to connect to the instance, and how to troubleshoot that if our website is not working. So anyone have any doubt related to today's session, please let me know. Anyone have any doubt? If everything is clear to you, please type yes in chat box, and also rate today's session from scale 1 to 5. And also let me know if you are want to have such more real-time lab where you can have that practical use in your next role, that how you can easily manage the infrastructure, because when you are practicing the lab, then only you can learn, because even I can also forget some options, but if I practice regular and my concepts are clear, then definitely by doing workaround, we can definitely find a solution. So only practice make a man perfect. I request you all to learn as many as port, because only port give you the idea that how to troubleshoot that specific application, and also do more practice. So don't do go for only reading, only do real time practice and use the code, because see, sometimes we cannot have all the knowledge in our mind. Everything is available over the internet, all the scripts are available over the internet, all things are available on the internet. What you need to do is you need to, like, if you are in the operation environment, you don't need to care about the code, only you need to care about the resources. Then whatever the code you have available over the internet, you can test your skill with that by launching a web server. You don't need to learn how to configure the website, but if you want to learn, then definitely you can give a try. But I know that to become a successful web developer, that is a different line. For operation IT operation, that is a different line. So if you want to choose your line, just stick to your line. Do practice what is needed in your line. Don't get yourself confused in the developer things that you want to learn a language. If you are a developer, don't confuse yourself in IT. Practice your language and make code and make application. So your focus need to be in a one direction. Then only you can easily use and manage the services. So my all best wishes are with you, that you will become a successful cloud engineer. And one more tips from my side is, like, always keep updating your resume. Always try with the one service at a time. Don't like confuse yourself in too much services. If you perfectly practice this virtual cloud, then this EC2 basically is Amazon is earning on what? Amazon is earning on compute power, storage power, and their services. That is what, if you practice like as much as on the EC2 instance, how many type of EC2 instances there, like then you can able to like help those people who are like getting who are already using AWS and they are getting a lot of bill. If you understand their need and you can advise them that sir, you are using wrong instance, and why are you paying so much, you can do your work with that instance. Even they can copy that server and test in the lower instance and run it for a week. If they are getting a less price, then obviously there is a cost optimization, and every industry want a cost optimization today. That is why they are hiring a solution architect person to optimize their infrastructure cost. So when you are good at that, you will definitely go on higher package. Package is not a limit in cloud because their all infrastructure is depend upon that, right? So always remember that if you want to be a good engineer, cloud engineer, or any other like this technical person in your respective field, just practice your basic as much as you can and also help other to learn. Then only you can grow, because when you are helping other, then you are in the teacher mode and you know you have to find the way to tell other person that uh, this is the right way. Even you can have a mutual discussion, then also knowledge sharing is there. So helping other is growing self and our community also. So, and also this will make you feel good. Thank you all. Thank you for staying here. So we will
Yes, sir.
meet next. Yes, yes. Please tell me.
Yeah, one more thing, sir. While we are working on a telnet, sir, telnet
Yes.
command.
Okay.
Yeah, I am worked on the telnet command by using a telnet command and by using an IP address. After
Mm-hmm.
completion of 1 hour, I am getting struck, sir. My laptop is struck. What's the problem? I don't know. I think it's running in the background.
Mm-hmm.
Is there any possibilities to change that?
Nee, right now your window is stuck over there or what? You can when you close the CLI mode, it automatically stopped or something. Sometime there are services of Telnet running in this task manager. You can find it there and then stop it.
Yeah, how
Or
can we
otherwise,
find it?
so see uh, that services is running. Just give me a minute. I will launch that Telnet in my uh, environment and then let you know. Just give me a minute.
Yes.
Anyone, anyone other have any other questions? And one more important thing is to always close your testing instance once you are done with it, because yeah, Amazon will charge you if your instance will left uh, in unattended mode, and after free tier it will start charging you. And sometime some people got a bill of 2000 in that in some scenario. Someone got like met accident and his EC2 instance left as it is. So after 1 year he opened his AWS account and he got a huge bill. So then he requested to AWS to waive out that bill. They waive out, but again I advise you to properly shut down your instance to avoid overbilling. So have you tried to Google it out, what are the services are responsible for Telnet?
Yeah, it's showing only connected by TCP and UDP. It's showing like that. Continuously background it will be run, sir. How much services are to be connected, and it will be shown for all the detail.
Uh, okay, you can do one thing. Uh, you can share a screenshot to me, like if you are facing any error.
Okay, one more thing. After I struck my laptop and I reported that, and it will be recorded. What's the problem? While we are using an internet, what's the problem we are getting? I don't know, sir. Why it will be struck? Is there any possible problems are there? How to get down? How to get it now?
See,
How to know that?
simple thing is you, if you're not able to stop that service, you can simply uninstall that feature from the window. And otherwise, I need to get a proper your terminal screen, and then I can see and tell what is the problem is. You can do one thing now. You can share a screenshot to with me, or you can ping me on my number. I will share
Yeah, okay.
right away.
Can you send me your mail ID or number? I will ping it. What I'm getting.
Yeah,
Okay.
you can WhatsApp me that error. Then we will. I will check. Then let you know. But not today, because today I to attend after this session. So I will connect to you like once I will free by
Yeah,
tomorrow or
okay.
something. Right?
Okay, okay.
My number is in chat box. You can send a WhatsApp to me by writing your name that you are from this session and what problem you are facing.
Yeah, okay.
Right?
Thank you.
Okay. Thank you, everyone. Thank you for staying here and attending my session. So it's wonderful to be with you, and I also got a practice by like working with you. So thank you all. Thank
So,
you, everyone.
hello,
Bye. Hello.
Sir Swanti this side. Uh, Hello, am I audible to you?
Yes, yes, yes. Please.
Sir, I wanted to know ki on which factors it will be decided ki I need to choose this instance type. Like initially you have choose the another instance type. Now we are doing it with T3 dot small. So what are the factors which will decide the instance type? Yeah.
See, you can always start with the like cheapest instance. For example, if you're working in a free tier, you can deploy your instance in a single core CPU. If that is working well, then you can keep that instance whenever you are putting more workload. Then there is a website called AWS Price Calculator. I will show you
Okay.
there. There you can get entire costing.
Okay. So basically, instance type is related to the pricing, like the type of the
Instance type
instance
is,
type we choose. Accordingly, we need to like accordingly it will
see,
cost.
instance is the resources, means compute power. What does I mean by compute power? Compute power is the machine resources. For example, you are buying a laptop. So,
Mm-hmm.
like how much money you want to spend? You want to spend 30,000, then you can get easily i3 system from some of the good make, HP or Dell, maybe lower
Mm-hmm.
side i3 system. If you have more money, then if you want to buy i5, then you need to spend 45 or 40K around, right? So Amazon
Okay.
have different server installed there. If you want single core CPU, they will charge you for single core CPU, right? That is,
Okay.
instance type is like the computer, how powerful computer you want. If you want a single core
Okay.
CPU computer, then they will charge less money.
Mm-hmm.
If you want a 8 core CPU for heavy application, for gaming development, then they will charge accordingly,
Okay.
right? So then again, if you are running web server, then if you want to handle 1,000 customers, then there
Mm-hmm.
will be 1,000 customer each time refreshing your web page. Then you think
Mm-hmm.
to have a powerful resource to handle the query, right?
Okay.
So AWS post calculator is there. I will show you just a
Mm-hmm.
minute.
So it means the e-commerce sites might be using the heavy servers, like they might be because so many customers are there who are keep on browsing their services. So that will come in which instance type? Like,
See, sometime it's depend. For example, I told you the use case of Netflix.
mm-hmm.
So Netflix are using uh, 1,50,000 Amazon server. Imagine 1,50,000 server. Why not single powerful server or two or three or 10 powerful server?
Because it has so many customers,
Yeah, so
so
many
server will
customer
get
and
down.
sometime it is easier to for example, if you want to launch a video service,
Today
so
we
single
discussed
call
about
will handle
anything
only
apart from the interview.
one user or two user, right?
Huh?
So
Right.
by
Class is
matlab,
running. I'm also in class only.
launching multiple virtual machine, they can serve multiple user, not launching one single high-end machine. Understood? So sometimes multiple machines are more cheaper than having, for example, 256 GB RAM and then 5 to 6 graphics card in it.
Okay.
Right? You understand my
Yeah.
point or not?
Basically, we have to do the Basically, we have to do the research on which, like, on which things we can settle down. Like,
So this is the website AWS price calculator. Whatever requirement you
mhm,
have in your mind, you can put it there.
mhm.
Like if you want to launch a which service, or if you want to create an estimate, and then it will give you the idea. So you can select the service, and then you can select other parameters, and also select a machine type. Then it will give you the costing right away.
Okay.
That this will be the per month or per hour course. Right. I will cover a detail with that, like when it is when you require a powerful machine or when you require a multiple machine. I will give a use case scenario, like in which case which thing is better.
Okay, sir.
Right. Okay.
Right.
Anyone
Thank you, sir.
else? Thank you. Welcome. Anyone else? Okay. Good night, everyone. So have a good day. Bye bye. I'm closing this session out.